I have a bone to pick with Hades. I have a love-hate relationship with that game. Not because of a lack of accessibility, although that's part of it, but also I have spent 77 hours and 25 attempts to try to be able to beat this game, and yet you mean to tell me that I get to the final boss and he has a second phase? No one told me he had a second phase. Let's talk about it. I'm Steve Saylor. I'm an accessibility consultant and a content creator. I'm also blind. If you're wondering how I can play video games and what I can see when I play video games if I'm blind, take a look at the video here or link in the description down below. So yes, I am ranting a little bit about Hades today in this video. It's not necessarily a review, although it kind of can be encapsulated into a review. I wanted to at least like kind of go through my 25th attempt to try to be able to beat this game. Just to kind of explain where my mind is at. And I'm going to not necessarily go through blow by blow, but I'm going to show you the entire run, which ended up being almost an hour long, just to try to be able to beat this game. And yet, I am still wanting to go back, if that makes sense. So first off, yes, I have been playing this game on and off for several years now, since it came out. I've put in 77 hours according to my Steam playtime, and that's not even including I played this on the Switch, which was about another couple hours, and then I think I played this on Xbox at one point, but majority of the time I played this has been on Steam. And yes, if you're wondering, I do use God mode, which if you don't know, is actually kind of a neat little accessibility thing. God mode allows a player to be able to, when they die in a run, that their damage resistance can be increased by 2% each time they die. It's a setting you can turn on in the settings, and it's been one of the main things that's been getting me through this game. I did start with whatever the default is, which I think is like 20%, and I am now officially up to 50% damage resistance. That's how much I've died trying to be able to play this game. Now, I have gotten to several biomes already before. I've beaten Tartarus, I've beaten Asphodel, and I've beaten Elysium once before. In this particular run, I've never beaten the Temple of Styx. I've gotten to it but once before, but it was really difficult, and I'll get to that when I talk about it. But this is after several attempts of trying to be able to play this over the years, I finally made an active, valiant attempt in October to try to be able to keep playing this game and beat it. I've been trying since then, and I don't know if I'm close or not to rolling credits. Now, I know you're also probably watching this, and you're probably thinking, yeah, 25 attempts is not a lot, and 77 hours, that seems about right. But to me, to dedicate 77 hours to a game that is not accessible, by the way, at least accessible to me, the fact that I've tried to be able to persevere in this game, I don't know whether it says it's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. All right, let's talk about the run itself. So I start off with the bow and arrow. I love me a bow and arrow. That's pretty much the main weapon I've been playing in this game, and it seems to work great for me and how I play. It should be no surprise to those who know me and how I play games. I love me a good bow and arrow. If you look at my stats in Destiny, I have used the Tycho's Divination and Trinity Ghoul bow and arrow to kill over 21,063 kills, confirmed kills, with those bows. Tycho Divination, I've spent about 15,233 kills with that bow, and Trinity Ghoul with 5,830. So I love me a good bow and arrow. So when I started off this run, I decided to kind of go with what I had initially, the first boon of the game, which is basically Poseidon's Tempest Strike, which allows you to deal more damage and knocks people back with plus 30% damage, which I liked. Now, I've gone through Tartarus a bit before. It honestly, actually, up until when I restarted this in October, I had yet to be able to even beat the main boss in Tartarus. So the fact that I've been able to improve my quote-unquote skills over time has been great. I've loved that. But going through this, I decided to kind of go with more Poseidon and Zeus's boons throughout. I started off with basically Poseidon's Tempest Strike, which is not necessarily my favorite boon that I've received in the game. I usually prefer the one that basically just takes out enemies or gives them plus 200% damage increase, but it makes the bow slower. I don't like that one. Actually got me through a lot of really rough times, but I still got through it in Tartarus with Dionysus, basically his extra boon of After Party. If health is low after encounters, get 30% health. I generally gravitate towards boons that have health increases or benefits to health because I need that benefit in order to be able to continue going, because I can't rely on specific skill-based things because my disability would get in the way. So anything to be able to improve my health so that if I make mistakes, it's not a huge deal, that's what I go for. That's why I go for the Lucky Tooth Keepsake, because that gives me 100 health immediately as soon as I do a Death Defy. I've basically built my ability to be able to get 3 Death Defies in a game, which is awesome. And again, God mode definitely helps out with that too. But any option I can be able to choose health over anything else, that's what I usually gravitate towards. Now, going through this run, Tartarus seemed to be pretty simple. Mini boss, kind of went through it relatively okay with barely losing any health. And before I knew it, I made it up to the main boss, which turned out to be this time Alecto. She was the only one that I've had trouble with because she moves really fast and has a lot of projectiles that, or at least things that drop from the sky. And I have trouble trying to be able to see that. So I mostly try to be able to use my dash a lot, which I always also pick up more abilities and boons to get my dash to give damage, because it's basically my dash and my attack is the 2 things I rely on the most. And if I can be able to increase the damage of both, that's what I generally prefer, because then I can be able to get out of the way, but still at least to be able to do damage without having to pause and try to be able to shoot my bow. Which actually, I do appreciate the fact that it does have a auto lock-on feature, so I don't have to constantly be worried about not being able to aim or hit at my target. It just sort of auto snaps to a target, which I do appreciate. Again, that's why I love the Taiku Divination in Destiny 2, because it has an auto lock-on feature there as well. Now, trying to beat Alecto, it definitely took a lot more damage out of me than I wanted. I was breezing through Tartarus pretty okay with the majority of my health, but I lost about 3/4 of my health trying to be able to beat Alecto. It's not my usual good, like, I don't usually get this low when it comes to health for this particular boss, but it definitely brought me down a lot further than I wanted to. But hey, I beat her. That's all that matters. On to Asphodel. Now, when it comes to Asphodel, this is probably my least favorite biome. It's the one that kind of I always seem to have issues with. It's the one that I'm constantly having to be able to get out of the lava. It's the one that has a lot of different hazards that are there that I have trouble trying to be able to see. So, and often the enemies that are there definitely pack a punch. So this is one of those biomes that I've got better at over time, but it's not necessarily one that I easily survive out of. So I started to get through Asphodel relatively okay, even with the fact I didn't have a lot of health, so I tried to be able to prioritize that. But when it came to a boon for Zeus, I should have picked the static discharge, which I'll get into a little bit, but I went with the Thunder Flourish, which basically gives my special lightning bolt to nearby foes, and it gives a bolt damage of 30. I chose this one over static discharge because I hadn't really, throughout the entire run of this game, I have never really specialized in my special attack. I never really saw the benefit of it. I have yet to even find a build that I like that can give me a better special abilities or what abilities with this special whatever. I just don't like it. So, but I thought, you know what? I'm gonna try to maybe put some boons into it, thinking that maybe it would benefit me. But it wasn't until looking back in this footage, I should have chosen static discharge. I made that mistake, and I don't like it. So I went through it, got some health, got some gems. Then I picked Poseidon's Typhoon's Fury from Charon, who basically gives you more damage when foes are knocked into barriers, which gives 200% damage. I love that. And then this boss, the Hydra and Asphodel, is also one that gives me a lot of trouble. It's the one that basically seems like it takes freaking forever to be able to beat. Because when you get to, it's like, okay, great, you got one head. I know a Hydra's got multiple heads, so I knew that was coming. But I still did not like the fact that basically, okay, the one head, it basically becomes invulnerable, and then you have to fight like 4, 5, 6 heads. I don't know. I can't even remember to count anymore. And they're all attacking me all at the same time, and I'm trying to be able to avoid the traps of the lava, plus all the projectiles that are being thrown at me. So I'm having to rely on my dash a lot more in order to be able to, before I can even do anything to actually any bow damage. So I'm just trying my damnedest to get through it. I have lost definitely more runs due to this damn Hydra than anything else. So whoever came up with this boss, I'd like to be able to see you go to Hades and go straight to hell. Why? Why? I've died many a times to you. I hate it. Now, getting up to Elysium, I'm still not necessarily very familiar with Elysium. I'm only relatively new to that biome as well. I've only been able to get to the boss fight probably about, I think, 2, maybe 3 times total. So I've lost one to them, and I think I've been able to beat the boss twice in this biome. But going through this, I then started to be able to prioritize, again, building out more health, getting more coins to be able to get more bonuses and boons, and any additional sort of health. I started to prioritize that as much as I could. I've found Thanatos again. I know there's sort of a competition to see who can be able to kill as many enemies as you can in that room, but I still don't know what his deal is, other than to look sexy. Which I guess, I mean, technically all the characters in this game are sexy. But this one in particular, I don't get what his deal is, other than just to stand there and look pretty and be death incarnate. Okay? I don't know, maybe explain to me in the comments down below. What's the point of this dude? Other than death incarnate. Does he pop up later and tries to kill me later? I don't know. So I get to the boss fight, which is basically 2 boss fights in one, to fight the bull and Theseus. And so whenever I get to this point, this is kind of where the strategy of how to tackle this boss fight kind of comes into play for me. So I focus on the bull first, because the bull has a very large reach and can be able to get super close to me and can deal some very, very heavy damage. So for me, what I do is I avoid Theseus altogether, and I just focus straight on the bull, and I try to hide behind the columns or dash away from being able to get shot by Theseus. And then once I can take the bull out, then I can focus on Theseus. Now, Theseus is definitely still a danger, but I figured basically, okay, kill one of them right off the bat, focus in on the other one, and then that way I'm not having to fight both of them at the same time and just try to aim at both and see what happens. So now with this, I tried to be able to get to do well in it, but I went into this boss fight with 3 death defies, and I lost 2 of them in this fight alone, which does not bode well for going into this the Temple of Styx next, because I know that one generally has given me trouble. So already I'm kind of in a loss. And I know that there are certain boons and things you can buy that can be able to give you a death defy back, but unfortunately, I didn't get one. So I had to start Temple of Styx with only 1 death defy left. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to try the best I can. I still don't know how to be able to get past Cerberus, but I'm going to figure it out. So I go through one room to get some more health. That's fine. I go through another room, which basically is a Zeus room, and somehow I get to the end. I've never gotten to the end of this. I've gone through multiple. I don't know what the RNG is of how many rooms you got to go through in order to be able to get the thing to distract Cerberus, but some reason in the second room, that's when I got it, and I kind of wish I didn't, because I would have liked to have gone through some other rooms to try to maybe get me some coin so I can buy some more stuff from Charon before I move forward. But be that as it may, finally, for the first time, I can actually be able to get past Cerberus and see what is beyond him, them. To get past them and see what comes next. And lo and behold, I finally reached Hades. Now, throughout this entire game, I've been poked, I've been prodded, I've been challenged, I've been made fun of, I've been bullied by my own father in this game, and I knew that that Hades was going to be the final boss fight. I just knew that that was going to be the case. And this, I got nervous and anxious and stressed and excited all at the same time. I wanted to poop, barf, burp, and pee at the exact same time. That might be a little bit too much TMI, but hey, that's how I was feeling going into this. So I had no idea what to expect. I was like, all right, I got the build that I got. Let's figure it out. And so figured it out. I did. I did not like this at all. I was dodging pretty much everything just to try to be able to, you know, survive. And at first I was like, okay, I'm doing damage. I have no idea what projectiles he's throwing or what his patterns were. I hadn't really got a chance to learn that. I'm figuring it out as I go, but I'm figuring it out, and I can't believe I'm actually getting him. I'm now down to 3/4, half. And I'm basically matching him for health too, so I'm almost out. And I'm basically I'm not even focusing on my health right now. I'm just trying to be able to just survive as long as possible while seeing Hades' health drop down in little bits at a time. I kept fighting. I kept trying to be able to just anytime that there was any new pattern that Hades was throwing at of attacks, enemies that Hades was throwing at me, I just tried to dodge out of the way. Figured that might help. Sometimes I dodged into the enemy attacks, and I didn't even know it. So I was desperate. I was just throwing everything I could at him, and it got down to 25%. I was down to 25%. I was like, I'm so close. I am so close. I just need to be able to get through one more. I got a few more hits in. I got a little bit left. I'm now in the red for health, and I finally was able to take him out, and I was sweating. I had a cold sweat go over me. I thought I had won. Hades had a dialogue thing. Seemed like he was down. Not out, but he was down. I was like, what's going on? I don't know. Did I beat him? Did I not? I don't know. And then he popped back up into a second phase, and in one hit, took me the F out. I mean, there was somebody on social media, I can't remember who, when I put this up on socials, that said, what, you think Hades, you think you're the only one that can do death defies? I want to boil that person in a vat of acid. No, I'm kidding. Because why? Why did he have to have a second phase? Why? I don't. It was the most frustrating run I've ever had. It was an hour long. I haven't touched the game since. I haven't played it at all. I don't know what the lesson is to even learn from this. I don't even know if this video is even going to be entertaining to y'all. But I needed to at least document what happened to me. To at least say, I like Hades. That's it. End of video. Talk to you in the next one.